Introduction. Surely in your heart you know better or require better. Your worthiness is really up to you, but here's some good news. It doesn't matter if you're worthy or what you think of yourself. Electricity works for you just as well as the folks down the street. The gravity you experience is not proportional to your perceived worthiness. You are the recipient of all that natural law allows. So create without judging yourself or your outcome in advance. Thoughts are absolutely real. The way thought becomes may be God answering every intention in prayer. Perhaps the he or she in charge turns it over to the angels or some kind of special box, automatically turning thought into matter. Maybe there is no God at all and some quirk of nature manufactures thoughts into objects and concepts. We can speculate all we want, but it doesn't matter anyway. Your intentions begin forming immediately, and they're not judged as right or wrong. Everyone is worthy, including you. The movie is something that anyone can do perfectly well. Even a child can watch a movie. Special expertise is not required. You don't go into a movie and say to yourself, I got a D in watching that movie, or I got a B+ in attending the show. Everyone is a natural at sitting in a theater, relaxed and watching the film. So enjoy your show and create good cinema for yourself. If you miss a day, it's okay. Don't criticize or judge yourself. Just get back into your movie when you can. If I forget to do my movie, it's like a little bird is circling around saying, Ken, do your movie. It's the most important thing you can do today. I have to agree. A large number of us have experienced too many miracles to stop now. When I think of all the marvelous things I've dreamed up and brought into my life, I'm convinced. Every day I go into my movie and joyfully put the time in. I have observed that my movie has often delivered results faster and brought me more success than my 40-hour work week could provide. Just working hard wouldn't produce the over-the-top events I've been privileged to experience. I created a script and got results. I love the successful stories people bring to me, and they're sprinkled throughout this book. Get out more. Say yes more. In your future, all is well. But how did you get there? It's unlikely it all came in via FedEx. You probably made and received some very good breaks along the way. Once you start manifesting your good future, you become the target of those good results. So do your part. Get out of the bathrobe and get back into your normal day. Accept more invitations. Have people over. Be available and increase the odds of your future finding you. Say yes more. These invitations and calls may be your future knocking on the door. Your future is forming up and working to put you in it. The more you're moving around and connecting, the more opportunities your scripted future has to find you. Your movie is the shortest, the quickest way to get to where you decide to go. The movie is one of the greatest tools available to you. If you're having problems in your life, eliminate them from your future. The problem doesn't exist there. You prefer to see yourself in a better place or position in your life? Put it into your movie. Your thoughts are working in an unlimited field of possibilities. Don't accept your present state. Why would you want to bring your baggage, uncertainties, and unhappiness into your wonderful future? Plan to move forward. Escape. In your future, you have eliminated the negativity. It doesn't matter how the problems disappeared. In your future, they are nowhere to be seen or felt. Taste, smell, and feel. You're in your future, and you can see what's around you, but looking is not all you can do. Each of your senses is another tool for creating your future. Should you imagine a seaside resort, walk around and sit in the furniture. Go over to the window and open it. Listen to the birds. Smell and breathe in the salty air. Bring in the details and don't forget to make sure that you're in the scene. Creating these scenes is not a sophisticated exercise. You don't have to be an original or visual mind at all. You are the star of the show. Your emotions are even more powerful. Yes, create your scene first, but be sure to permit yourself to react and feel in your movie as well. The emotions you feel are extremely important, a creative force. So when you allow an emotional response to what you're experiencing, you have magnified your creative ability exponentially. When you're walking around in your wonderful future, do what comes naturally. Be thrilled. Be grateful. This is manifesting in the simplest and most powerful form. A child can do this. Your mind may wander. You might not get in all the details, but don't be frustrated or concerned. Try to fully experience what you can. Don't worry about perfect, and that will be more than enough. Next, be grateful and go to the next scene. Tomorrow's another day, and you'll be back in your lovely future to experience it all over again. We all like the perfect outcome. What could be better? Let's make our future as perfect as possible. If you want to specify the seaside resort as a perfect destination, then use detail and all of your senses, including emotion, to make it so. Sometimes it's best to leave the details out of your movie. If you're looking for a wonderful companion, go for perfect by not using a visual of who this ideal person will be. And that way you won't limit all of the possibilities for your perfect partner. Does he absolutely have to be 6 feet tall? Why does she absolutely have to be a redhead? You will surely know perfect when you encounter the one in real life. In some of my scenes, I have intentionally set it up with nothing to see in that future moment. I like to use the device of observing results at the end of my day in the future. In this future, I'm sitting on the couch in my perfect home, and I observe that I have perfect health. I can also make the observation that I'm doing what I'm here to do, and I'm grateful. I don't see any of those scenarios. I simply notice that they have been happily in place for some time. It's a way of taking an abstract concept or emotion and placing it into my future without a limiting or complicated visual. Did you notice that I added an element to that statement? I made sure that I was in my perfect house and that I felt grateful. Perhaps you will visualize your perfect health while on vacation somewhere in the world. Sample script. When I'm doing my personal movie, I tend to concentrate on 3 basic themes. First, I prefer health. It's an obvious priority. Second, I feel urged to do what I'm here to do, so I script it into my future. The rest of the scenes are all about my living comfortably, my third focus. So the script for my movie goes something like this. I'm in my future and I have perfect health. Physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. Just saying perfect health should do just fine, but I go for more. This scene is easy for me to visualize. Since I'm in my future and I'm sitting on my couch at the end of the day, I simply observe that I've had perfect health for a long time. Then I say, I'm so grateful. I'm in my future and I'm doing what I'm here to do, and I'm so grateful. I truly don't know what my calling is, but there are the recurring themes of being in service and helpful in my life. Doing what you're here to do could cover a wide range of vocations: parenting, being a good spouse, doing your job, or volunteering. Perhaps what you are here to do can manifest itself within your career, a very fulfilling result. A parent is certainly about helping and supporting his or her children. A business person is at a minimum providing for himself, employees, and clients. It's my hope that some of you will see your life unfolding in a new and more fulfilling way. When I'm doing what I'm here to do, it fills my cup as little else can, so I've made it a priority. I'm in my future, in my perfect home, and I am so grateful. Home is my base, where I begin and end the day. I like the stability of having a place to call home. As it turns out, my home is also a place I share with others who come to teach, write, gather, and rest. My home gets a workout, and it's a comfort for many. When I was manifesting my perfect home, I was careful not to visualize too much detail. You can bring in all the specifics you wish, but my approach was to find the perfect home without limits. I only imagined that this home had good natural light and high ceilings. I started imagining the kitchen, but I let that thought go. I realized I was severely limiting the possibilities of my perfect home. Again, use all of the detail you want. In my case, I was willing to go for perfect with only a few specifics. To manifest this idea, I simply imagined that I was sitting on my couch in my perfect home. In order to magnify my intention, I wanted to physically make contact with the home of my future. So I breathed in the air and rubbed the cushion of my sofa in my present home. Every day for months, I rubbed that sofa like Aladdin's lamp. The couch I owned would go into whatever house I would create. So the air in that couch became my physical contact to my perfect home of the future. Through a series of extraordinary events, all unforeseen and seemingly impossible, I finally came to live in the perfect home I'm in today. I have so many to thank, and I'm so very grateful. It is the home I envisioned with a good natural light and tall ceilings. The financial calculus favored me in unexpected ways. This house is on the market for a couple of years. No one wanted to live in it but me. When all was ready, I contacted a number of mortgage brokers to try to get approved to buy my present home. All of the brokers fell away except for two, and only one broker could get me the standard loan I needed. She stayed with me and worked for 90 days to find a bank that would approve my loan. Miraculously, it was approved with standard terms and with a well-known, reliable bank. Many times a month, I hug the walls of my perfect home. I'm living in the impossible. My home is proof of concept. Thought manifests, thought is real, and it can be used to good effect in our lives. I could delete the scene in my perfect home now that I live here, but I'll leave it in my movie. I continue to reinforce the idea that I'm living here, and I will continue to do so. In my future, I'm in my art studio, and I'm doing a lot of wonderful new artworks. I'm very successful, and I'm so very grateful. As an artist, it's important for me to be successful in my career. In this case, I spend a lot of time in the studio, and I can see a lot of finished works that just thrill me. But all I really see are whitish canvases on the easels. They're great, new works, but I don't want to see what they look like. I don't want to limit the finished product. In the movie, I specify that I get better with each new work. The paintings are exciting, and of course, they're very successful in the marketplace. I also note that in my future, these new works are created in a very efficient way so that I'm struggling less and painting better. It's great to be in my future specifying success without limits or detail. Everything that I put into my art scene has come to pass. I've expanded this original concept of the script with even better results, and I'm very grateful. Last year, my good friend and fellow artist Cheryl St. John and I had art openings across the street from each other in Taos, New Mexico. We had a little time together and talked about manifesting as a way to bring good things into our lives, our careers included. Every day after that discussion, Cheryl used the manifesting methods discussed here. Weeks later, she entered a jury contest, the 2012 Capitol Christmas Tree Art Competition. As a prestigious competition with high visibility, this event attracts a lot of artists from around the country. Cheryl received great news. She won first place. There was a handsome cash prize and more. She was flown to Washington, D.C. for the Christmas tree lighting ceremony and was part of the presentation program that included the Speaker of the U.S. House of Representatives. It was a whirlwind few days, and she had quite a story to tell when she got back. Cheryl was using manifesting in an unlimited way to further her career, and she got fantastic results. Last night I saw Cheryl again at another of her gallery openings. She was recently selected for representation by one of the best and most established galleries in Denver. She let me know she was still in her movie, happily manifesting every day. I'm in my future with my perfect partner, and I'm so very grateful. Let's be clear up front. I'm not perfect. Even my mama knew that. However, in my future, my partner and I are together, and we feel we are really perfect for each other. How wonderful. Love is surely blind, but it works perfectly for the two of us. How could this possibly happen? I have no idea how we got there, but in my future, she is there, and I'm extremely grateful. So in my movie, I limit our interaction. She sits next to me on the couch, and I pat her leg. I may visualize giving her an affectionate hip bump at the kitchen counter. There may be more detail of us together at a vacation spot. Whatever the case, I don't look at her. I'm not going to limit the possibilities. There are 7 billion people on the planet, and surely more than just one can be overwhelmingly perfect for me and me for her. I'm creating this in my future, and it has to happen. Every day I just give her a little pat and say how grateful I am. Sometimes I really feel the gratefulness, and at other times I feel nothing at all. If you recall, when I started manifesting my future, my friends observed I was becoming much happier. There is the perfect possibility that my perfect partner is me. No, I don't like myself that much, but I'm on my own and I've never been happier. I'm busy and fulfilled, and so far so good. I'm certainly not giving up on the idea of meeting my perfect partner. I still give her an affectionate touch every day. Either way, when I say I'm grateful, I let the words flow like cream into coffee. I give my gratefulness time to make my thoughts even more powerful. I'm in my future, on the computer, and looking at the bank balances, and the accounts are just fat. I can't believe how much money's in there. I am so grateful. Once again, I'm observing a future scene. I specify not having to worry about the month-to-month bill payments. I have multiple income streams and the equivalent of income that keeps my expenses paid way in advance. That feels really good. I have another scene where I have stacks of checks on the table. By the way, once I began visualizing those checks in my movie, they began to appear in my life, stacked on that table in a couple of weeks. It doesn't happen every day, but I'm very grateful. Those checks could be coming electronically too. I'm going to work on that. I'm in my future, and all of my time is perfectly synchronized. I am so very grateful. I stay pretty busy. I like the activity, but I used to take on too much. With my calendar filled, I found myself getting a little stressed out. I had a tiny amount of personal time, and I wasn't doing all that I promised to do efficiently. How can I fix something as complicated as that? Bingo. I didn't try to figure it out. Instead, I put the situation in my movie and specified a perfect solution. I put it out this way. I'm in my future, and all of my time is perfectly synchronized. I have all of the time needed for what I'm here to do, my career, my perfect partner, my friends, and my own personal time. I never have to stress anymore to find hours in the day to do all that I need to do, and I still have time left over for myself. The change came about quickly. Within a couple of weeks, I realized I was going to bed earlier and playing solitaire on my iPad. I had manifested all those cool electronics a year before. What a difference! It really worked, and it still works. After a little break, I converted some of that solitaire time into writing this book. By the way, did you notice where I slipped in the perfect partner? I'm in my future, loving my perfect career. I am so very grateful. Again, I'm at the end of my day in the future, observing my career. Notice I didn't say work, but chose the word career instead. In this way, I can see myself back home on the couch, resting and observing the elements of my perfect career. I can view my place of work as an office or at home. I visualize how happily and smoothly my vocations flow. I can be working on my own or with associates that I respect and enjoy. I am appreciated, successful, and financially rewarded. I'm in my future, away from home, and looking at the incredible scenery in this marvelous place. I don't have to worry about the time away or the money to be here. I am so very grateful. Sometimes I visualize a room where I put my bags down, walk out to the balcony, and hold that balcony rail. When I look out from the balcony, I just see white. I don't limit where I am, so it can be anywhere that pleases me. Without seeing the view, I sometimes allow a non-visual impression of a beautiful sunset, mountains, stream, lake, ocean, or all the above. I've allowed the possibility to experience locations that I might not have chosen. You get to create the travel you wish. Don't hesitate to create your visual with high detail. Imagine where you want to go and put yourself in the scene. Add companions or your perfect partner if you like. Within 2 to 3 months after I started envisioning my scene, I was surprised, so why am I still surprised? To find myself holding a balcony rail looking at the Caribbean. I'd been invited to attend a surprise birthday party for Judy at a private residence in the Dominican Republic. I just have to add that Judy was not surprised. She's an intuitive and knew what we were up to, so the surprise was on us. I only had to pay the airfare to be there, and I enjoyed exceptional private lodging with close friends for a week at no additional expense to me. About 8 weeks after that, I found myself in New York. I was given free airfare and a behind-the-scenes tour of the best Broadway play that year. So how did I get the free airfare? It starts with my perfect home, which is more than just a house. I specified that my house is not just for me, but it's a gathering place for teachers, students, and kind visitors. It's a sanctuary that is restful and peaceful. I'm the caretaker of the clubhouse, so I get to sleep here and enjoy all the amenities. Prior to this New York trip, a friend called and asked if I could host a visitor to the Denver area for a few days. I agreed because that's what my home is for. After spending time with this person, we quickly became friends. Before she left, she thanked me and said she wanted to do something for me. I declined and said there's no reason to do that. I was just happy we had met and became friends. No, you don't understand, she said. I work for an airline and I'm going to put you on my friends and family list for free airline tickets. You can fly anywhere in the system for free as a standby passenger. I was incredulous. What? Are you kidding me? I told her about the vacation scene in my movie and how I specified that money was not a problem to get there. We just laughed and laughed. I was in New York soon after, flying on that airline pass. As I'm writing this, I'm sitting in Los Angeles, where tonight I was invited to attend a movie premiere and a party afterwards. My movie scenes are manifesting themselves in fascinating ways, and I look forward to future adventures. You better believe that I still have that travel scene running. I've been consistently creating good things in my life. Not everything has to be miraculous and dramatic. Things go smoothly. Life is good. I'm happy and less encumbered by common problems. Add it all up, and I feel the movie has made a real difference in the direction of my life. I want to be clear here. I'm taking responsibility for my present and my future. I'm being careful not to create negative situations or purposely mismanage the details of my life. I'm doing my part to allow my future to seamlessly appear. You don't have to stick to your original script. Make changes and improvements as you go forward with your movie. I've tweaked many scenes for the better, and sometimes I see the changes take effect very quickly. It's all up to you. Only you. Manifesting in this way is like stacking a sheet of copy paper on the other side every day. Some days the paper is perfect, and others, well, the papers are a bit less than optimal. Each day you add another sheet of copy paper to the stack. Nicely done. You're doing great. One day a pretty ragged piece of paper goes on the pile. The next day is fine, and you forget a day. Every day another sheet of paper is added. On, and the stack grows. It's all forward progress, and perfection is not required. It doesn't take long before a large amount of copy paper is stacked on the other side. This stack is much too substantial to exist in the non-physical state, and it cascades over into the physical, into your precious life. Your thought has become real. It is as simple as that. This is how your thoughts can bring about smaller, spectacular changes. Thought is just as real as rain or the hammer in your tool belt. Believe it or not, it is so. An alternate approach. Remember, it's your movie to make, so it should be comfortable for you. I have a close friend who makes a big production out of her movie. Great idea. She goes into her movie theater, sits down, and the show begins big time. The screen lights up with fireworks-like display of shooting stars, rainbows, and flowers. The show becomes more spectacular with words and sounds in many languages expressing gratefulness. What an opening! Once her scenes begin, she seamlessly merges into the show on the screen, the lead actress in her fabulous production. She is the writer, producer, director, and star of her own extravaganza. The oops factor. Invent what you like, and be careful not to limit your intended result. There'll be an outcome, so why create something that's less than your ideal? You've heard me mention the perfect this and the perfect that a number of times. Of course, use specifics whenever you like, but I would much prefer the result that's beyond what I would have planned myself. I really respond to flawless when I see it. One of the earliest results from my movie is that I felt happier. I'm a pretty upbeat person, but my friends noticed I was even happier than usual. When watching my movie, I was happy, of course, but this joy was spilling over into my life. Perhaps it's easier and quicker to manifest joy rather than a new career. Perhaps there are fewer moving parts to arrange between those two scenarios. Who knows? The movie just works, and I'm not the only one who sees the differences. Sometimes your movie will bring you an unexpected outcome. It's very common for people to tell me that some of their friends have dropped away after they started working on a happier life in their future. The loss of friendship was confusing and disappointing, but they weren't calling each other as often, and perhaps there were communication problems. That happens. Sometimes friends come and go, but when I ask them if they had made any new friends lately, they typically say yes. They say the friends that fell away were really not that close. Their bond wasn't as strong any longer, and it was kind of a push for them to make time for each other. Sometimes those old friends or important relationships were really horrible. On the other hand, their new friends are more interesting, share more in common, and they're just fun to be with. It's very easy to make time for them. Here's an extreme example of a very unexpected parting. For years, I've been friends with two married women with children. The women know of each other, but they're not close. Neither of the marriages was very happy, but they all persevered. They've both been doing personal versions of the movie for weeks, and then they received some startling news. They related this news to me in two separate phone calls, one day apart. They both told me their husbands wanted a divorce. It was a surprise they really weren't ready for. I was stunned as well. I waited a week to call them back. I was very concerned, and I wanted to see how they were faring. In two separate, back-to-back phone calls, they both said the same thing. I haven't been this happy since high school. They asked me what happened. I was pretty concerned about the possible problems I might have caused. I had been encouraging them to use thought to make their lives happier. So how long have you been doing the movie? Have you been doing it every day? I inquired. Both women told me they did their movie almost every day for the last 6 weeks. I had to ask, "So in your movie, was your husband in any of those scenes?" "Are you kidding?" they said. They wanted to tell me there's no way that they would consider having that man in their happy visions. There was a stumble in the reply. Oh my God, did I do that? I couldn't know, but I offered that it was very possible. Further, this happened very quickly, in a matter of just a few weeks. Whatever the mechanism, the husbands apparently got it in their heads to leave for their own reasons. It was either a remarkable movie outcome or one heck of a coincidence. I offered, don't think for a moment that you're better than your husband. You leave him to his happy pond, and you enjoy yours. Support that thought as best you can. Try to create a good ending so you'll have a new beginning for the two of you and for the children. What was the bottom line? Happiness was created. Limits dropped away, and the rest depends on what they dream up next. My friends' divorces are just one possible outcome. Relationships can turn on a dime. There is the possibility that an uncomfortable relationship can mend and be made better. If you're struggling with a particular relationship, try putting together scenes of gladness with that person in your movie. In your movie, the dysfunctions of a couple or family gathering can become the joyful opposite. In your movie, the difficulties with your significant other no longer exist. You two have so much in common and so many shared memories. Why not have a movie where you're both happy again? You don't have to specify if you're a couple or not in that future scenario. Just observe that you're both happy and in the same room together. Don't limit the positive options. So many touching stories result from manifesting the future. I was talking to a good friend on a beautiful Colorado day. We were on my front deck listening to the waterfall below, and everything seemed perfect. But there was a catch. My friend began telling me about unfortunate things in her life that seemed beyond her control. Her marriage was in serious trouble, and so was her husband's business. Her father was doing his best, trying to help financially and with his business expertise. The business complications were creating distance between her and her father. She was carrying more burdens than can be spoken of here. She was working on the problems as best as she knew how, asking, praying, and hanging on. She was familiar with some manifesting approaches but hadn't tried them. I suggested the methods described here, and her attitude was, why not? Things are pretty tough and out of my control. I'll give it a try. During our hour-long conversation, there were some laughs and tears. We put the idea of a movie together, and she was determined to chart a better future for herself and for her son, a future that would include a very successful career in her own, her perfect partner, and financial stability. As we talked, a hummingbird flew right up to her face, moved around a bit, and then flew off. Startled and amused, we began wrapping up our discussion. She was going to manifest a bright new future and give it her best shot. Suddenly, the hummingbird came right back, flew close to her face, and looked her right in the eye. We were just amazed. The bird stared at her, moving a bit to the left, then to the right, gave her one more straight-on good look, and abruptly took off. Whatever that was, it felt good. I was very hopeful for her future, and my intentions were with hers. Chapter 6. Manifesting number 2, worry and your words. Great. You can create marvelous and thrilling results with the power of thought. You and those around you will see things unfold and share spectacular stories. Yes, you will. But there's a catch. Isn't there always a catch? Yes, but your thoughts create, and they're creating all the time. You put a lot of chaff into the air, thousands of random and repetitive thoughts every day. It's okay. Generally, it's the things you focus on repetitively that manifest. These countless other words and images are not going to create anything unless you keep them in your consciousness over and over. If you're constantly allowing someone to get under your skin, then it becomes a part of your field. You create a movie of that unease as you go forward. Get the repetitive junk out of your current environment, or at least don't let it get to you. Eliminate or downgrade it as best as you can. Be responsible and then be magical. Make sure that when you imagine your future, these problems don't exist there. By repeating the preferred thoughts you want in your movie each day, these intentions will begin to form up in your life. Sweet! But there's another theme that runs through all of those thousands of thoughts we have each day. We worry. Worries are thoughts as well. We can create anything with worry, and guess what? Worries are thoughts, and they're emotionally loaded with fear. We are constantly thinking randomly and repetitively. Some of those thoughts are the worries that continue to come to mind again and again throughout the day. Since we keep touching these thoughts and load them emotionally, they will begin to manifest physically. Remember these two great forces, love and fear. I wonder how much unease we create with worry and fear. How much negativity would you like to invite into your life? Whatever force that makes thought manifest, it creates without judgment. You are free to make all the things you wish, good and bad, large and small. Keep your mind clear of negatives. You can create a negative result by repetitively thinking about those worrisome